All right, so much for the rules to shorten football games, huh? So 5.5 hours later, here we are. I first want to thank all the fans that hung in there for 5.5 hours. You know, we had a sellout, and obviously with the weather, you know, there weren't as many people there, but I just really want to thank the ones that were, to give up 5.5 hours and support the Deeks, and that was, it's very meaningful for the people who stayed around, and we really appreciate it. That was, I think, one of the better overall team wins that we've had here. You know, that earlier in our tenure, if we won, it was on defense, and then for a while it was kind of more offensive driven. And I just thought today across the board, you know, the defense got a lot of turnovers, created field position, got a huge fourth down stops and third down stops. The goal line stop, generated turnovers, just really, really stepped up at critical times. Offensively, that's as well as we've run the football here in a long, long time. And we knew we had to. You know, everything that they had kind of said, you know, in the media was about the explosiveness of our offense, and we kind of anticipated they would play, you know, some softer coverages, and we really felt that this was a game we were going to have to run the football and run it consistently, and we did. And it obviously starts up front with the O-line, but I thought DeMond and Tate really did a great job. We made some big catches on third downs. You know, the amount of third and longs that we converted today, you know, we were 10 of 15 on third down conversions, and I think a lot of those were third and long. And then the special teams play, the touchdown before the half, was really a game-changing play. You know, you get that one and you go up 10 and you start with the football, and then you force them to play from behind. You know, I know that's a tough one in the Vanderbilt locker room. Vanderbilt's much better, and Clark's done a really good job, and they have a lot of guys on their staff that have worked here that I think the world of. Ben Cotham, Brandon Horrigan, and those guys are doing a good job. It just, you know, it came down to turnovers. You know, unfortunately, we generated them, and, you know, we had the one that was really, really costly. I thought that would, at some point, really hurt us. But I thought Vanderbilt is a much improved football team, and, you know, when you go against a friend and someone that worked for you, you know, you like the game to be over with so you can root for them the rest of the way, and we certainly will do that. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Coach, last week you were concerned about the balance in your offense, or the lack of it. How are you feeling about that today?
Well, we did what we had to do based on how we were being defended. I mean, there's no mystery to what we do. Like, if you're going to load up the box on us, we're going to throw it, and if you're going to play light coverage, we have to run it. And, you know, they played a lot of what we call Okie front. They played some three safety defense, and they gave us looks that you have to run the ball against. And we've had games that we get those looks and we haven't run it, and that then becomes a really long day. And today we did run it well against those looks, and I thought our backs made people miss. And then when they started to load the box up a little bit, we made some plays on the perimeter. So, you know, I think we got better from the first game, and we had to. And so that's what I'm probably most encouraged about.
When did you know Justice Ellison would be out, and how did DeMond respond to that challenge of starting?
Well, I mean, those two are good friends, so, I mean, he was excited to start. I don't think he was excited why he was starting. But, you know, Justice had a little injury in Wednesday's practice, and, you know, so we knew Wednesday afternoon that DeMond would start, and he had a heck of a game. He's a good player. Yeah, I mean, that went from disaster almost for us to disaster for them. You know, they had the punt blocked. I'm sure they're going to look at the film and say, how do we not block this? But Ivan did a great job of getting it out there, and I'm not sure who made the initial hit. Who was it? Walker. Yeah, so, I mean, the kid caught the ball and got 2 steps down, and Walker made a heck of a hit. And credit to Brandon of being in the right place at the right time and always assuming it was a fumble and not a muff punt. That was, you know, if it's a muff punt, we get the ball there. If it's possession and a fumble. And so we teach those guys, anytime that happens, just take it and score and make the officials make a call. And, you know, that was one of those bang-bang plays that fortunately went our way. Yeah. So Spencer Clapp got an ankle sprain in the first game against Elon, and he could have played in an emergency, but I really feel like we have 6 starting O linemen, and Matt's the 6th, and Matt played tackle in high school, so we repped him at tackle, and then the other guy that I thought really did well was Eric Russell. So he's really had a good spring, a good camp. He's coming on, and you just can't say enough about the job that Nick Tabaka does developing offensive linemen. That was, we lost to 3 starters last year, and 3 or 4, 4, and we're still, I think, pretty good on the O-line. So, again, Connor, I can never leave one of your questions without saying we'll watch the film, because I know how much you love that answer. I know you appreciate that answer more than most people, but I think Eric Russell played well, and all those guys.
Coach, what did you specifically do in terms of the running game? Were they breaking tackles like I haven't seen in a long time? And was it the blocking? What did you do?
I coached the running backs this week. I'm kidding. No. Yeah, I mean, again, Coach Hunter. Coach Hunter keeps me away from those guys. The only thing I teach is pass protection. So if there's a sack, you can blame it on me. They got in space and they did a nice job. It's the O-line. I always say it's the O-line's job to create the first 3 yards, and it's their job anything after that. And I thought they had good vision, made some cuts. I love the way they finished with a forward lean. We were moving the thing forward, and again, the hardest time to run the football is late in the game with a lead, and that's 2 weeks in a row that we were able to do that. So that is a very, very encouraging sign for our football team. That I don't know if this is a team that's going to go out there and score 50 points a week, and so getting third down stops on defense, converting in the red zone, winning in the kicking game, managing the middle 8. Being able to run a 4-minute offense at the end of the game, being really good in those situations will probably make or break our season. And today, we did really well in those situations, and that was a big reason why we won.
Okay, how surprising was it to see a delay 5 plays into the game? Then how did you and your team handle that 2 hours away from the football field?
We knew the whole day that there were those cells coming. And we have a guy on our sidelines, Johnny Foster, who's a pilot. And Johnny, if you want a good weather report, don't watch the Weather Channel. Go to a pilot, right? Because they make the decision whether they're going to fly and die in that stuff, or if it's. And
So you would not have flown.
he would not. He's like, you got a cell here. You might have another cell here. If this cell takes out enough heat, there's a chance that thing dissipates and you maybe can play, but you got to be prepared to play 45 minutes and come right back in. And then he's like, it's dissipating. I've never heard the word dissipate more than I've ever heard today.
So what did y'all do during that time?
We were talking about playing euchre. Somebody wished they had a deck of cards. We just tried to keep the guys loose. We came in there and we had the ball on the 7-yard line, 3rd down, and we weren't even far enough into the game to make adjustments. And then the other part was, you didn't know how long we were going to be in there, right? Because it's 30 minutes, 28, 20, okay, it's 30 again. It keeps resetting, and to the point that every time you're walking in with the players, they were upset to see you because they knew you were. So I told someone else to do it. So we just told them the biggest concern was you typically eat 4 hours before a game. And so the biggest concern was just getting them food. The last meal that we had was at 7:15 this morning. So, don't offer to buy dinner tonight. That'll be a heavy load on the credit card. These guys are hungry.
Coach, last week you mentioned that there were some points of growth you wanted to see in Mitch Griffiths' game. What did you see from him today?
I thought he was much more steady, got us into the right plays. I thought he managed the offense better, made some plays with his feet. I thought it was a step forward. I said this at the beginning of the year. we're not young, but we are inexperienced. And my hope is that this is a team that gets better every week as they get experience. And that goes for Mitch and Damon Claiborne and Cam Height and Eric Russell and Matt Golbin and Luke Pettibone. And like you just go through the roster of guys that have been on special teams and maybe had roles that they played 10 or 15 snaps a game. And now all of a sudden these guys are playing 50 and 60 snaps. Wesley Grimes, Taylor and Keyshawn are playing more snaps than they've ever played. And they got to just get used. Like, it's not so much can they do it physically, it's the mental fatigue. Like, to be able to focus mentally for 55, 60 plays, is a lot harder than being able to do it for 15, 20 plays and some plays in the kicking game. And I thought, again, 5.5 hours later, I think that's where we probably had the most growth is, to me, we missed less signals, we had less alignment errors, we had fewer misassignments. We were more sound today against a better football team, which we had to be.
And on the defensive side of the ball, it looked like things were a little bit up and down, especially in the secondary play.
Well, it comes down to the same thing, right? It's like you can't give up explosives. And we knew going into the game those two receivers, Shepard and McGowan, were both good players. And we missed a tackle on McGowan, which led to a touchdown. Then we gave up a big play to Shepard, and then he scored. And then the third touchdown was another deep play off a scramble. And so, like, our biggest goal this year is to give up less explosives. And we gave up one last week, and it was a touchdown. And we gave up 3 today, and they all resulted in touchdowns. Every time we give up an explosive, there's a touchdown. And so we played really, really good defense today, I thought, and did some really good things. But we can't let the ball get over our head, and we can't miss tackles in space. Those are the things that, as excited as I am about the win today, that's the part that I know if we don't get this corrected, it'll catch up with us. So we'll go back to work tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you all for hanging out.